This is Lola. She is a female American kestrel. Kestrels are the smallest falcons in North America. They're the second smallest true falcons in the entire world. She won't get any larger than this, but most falcons are larger than kestrels. And in this country, we have others. We have peregrines, we have prairie falcons, we have merlins, Aplomato falcons, and the largest falcons in the world, which are gyr falcons. Falcons in general, they have dark brown eyes. They have bold facial patterns. The stripe underneath her eye is called a malar stripe, and it helps keep the sun glare off of her eye when she's flying. But they're basically noted for their wings. They have very long, pointed wings, and they are extremely fast flyers because of that, and very maneuverable in the air. This particular bird was stolen out of the nest as a baby, and people thought that they would make a pet out of her, and it is illegal. You can't do this, and you have to be licensed to care for them. But if you raise a baby bird of prey from week 4 to week 10, they form their social identity, and it's called imprinting. Okay. So if she's being raised by another kestrel, she imprints the kestrels, but if she's being raised by a human, if they're lucky enough to even keep her alive, she becomes a human imprint. So Lola thinks she's human, and she'll never change her mind because it's like a little computer up there. All of a sudden, after 10 weeks or so, the computer shuts down, it's programmed, and you can't change the program anymore.
That's so interesting.
So that's her deal. But they live around here. They like farm fields, wide open country. They're mostly mouse eaters. Occasionally they'll take other birds. They'll take insects in the summertime. But they're very easily overlooked because they're so tiny.
Yeah.
So if you see a little bird like this sitting on a high wire somewhere, unless you're a bird person, you probably wouldn't take a second look, and you wouldn't even know that there's a falcon that actually lives around here. Yeah, and they are. They are, especially the females. She's a female. The males are quite a bit more brightly colored, but the females have the vertical brown barring and the ladder back brown and black on the back as well as the tail. The males are quite a bit more brightly colored, but they're pretty common around here. They're nest in holes, so you can build kestrel nest boxes if you want. If you in a wide open area where there are fields, and they will readily take to them.
She's truly a beautiful bird.
Falcons have really stunning faces, and you're going to see that probably more so with the next bird. But they really are they have a sweetness about their face. They don't have the heavy-duty brow ridge of a hawk, so hawks always look angry, and hawks are beautiful, but they don't have the sweetness that falcons do.
She doesn't have that predator face.
No, she doesn't. She's and plus, you know, she's just a little cutie. She's a little just a sweet little bird, unless you're a mouse, and then it's not too cool. Now this bird is just getting used to programs. To raise money for the center, we do as much public education as we possibly can to schools and scout groups, and that's what I'm lucky to be here today. This is Griselda, and she is a female.
A violent bird.
She's a violent female. Griselda, which means gray woman warrior, at least that's what it said in the baby book. She's a peregrine falcon. She's a female. Female birds of prey are quite a bit larger than male birds of prey, so they really do literally rule the roost. They're bigger, stronger, and have much bigger feet. And Griselda, I've only had for about 6 months or so. But again, look at her stunning face. Peregrines are absolutely, to me, they're just one of the most gorgeous birds in the entire world. The heavy black mask that she has, and she's not quite as calm as the other birds. You can see she'll open up her mouth every once in a while. But peregrines are the fastest animal in the world. So she eats birds, and what she will do is she will ring up high in the sky, and if she sees a bird underneath her, if she sees a bird coming from a distance, she'll get ready. She'll ring up very high. And she'll do what's called a wing over. They kind of go backwards over their shoulder, and she'll fold her wings straight back into her body, and she goes into what's called a stoop. And peregrines is a straight down power dive at about 200 miles an hour.
That's really fast for a bird.
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do. And they will knock their prey out of the air with their feet. Or if it's something small, they'll just grab it and keep on flying. But if it's something like a duck or a pheasant or something like that, they will hit it and then come down on the ground. And they have a very, very specialized beak that they use to kill their animals.
That's intense.
It is intense. Wow. I'm sure it's very intense being a bird of prey. But you can see how sleek she is, how streamlined she is. She is a little bit more than a year old. And
she's big for
they
one-year-old.
grow from egg size to adult size in about 10 weeks or so.
That's crazy.
So they're fledging out. There are webcams set throughout the country on peregrine falcon ledges because they're often urban birds.
Yes.
They nest on buildings and skyscrapers and bridges especially. And we're lucky enough we ban baby peregrines every single year. But there are various webcams where you can actually watch them, usually starting in April. You can watch the parents come in, lay the eggs. You can watch then the babies hatch out, raise the babies all online. And it happens every single year. So we're lucky enough to do the health checks on a lot of the Pennsylvania peregrines that I'm involved with. But this particular bird flew through an apartment building window, and she was found in a stairwell with a broken leg and a broken wing.
Wow.
The leg healed perfectly. The wing healed almost perfectly, but it is still a little stiff. And you can't afford to have a wing that's a little stiff if you're trying to dive at 200 miles an hour.
I was about to say, to be a predator.
Yeah, so she might be grounded for the rest of her life.
That's really
Time will tell. Her wing might loosen up over time. And birds remodel their bones over time, too. If you don't get a perfect union, the bones will resorb and not really straighten out. They'll keep the bend, but eventually they get more and more mobile. At least they can.
Holy God.
Again, I've only had her for 6 months, so she's not nearly as calm.
She's a vicious one.
As some of the other birds. You know, the red-tailed hawk that I use for programs, I've had for 28 years, and she's so much calmer than she is. But she's doing a whole lot better.
I can only imagine what she used to be like.
Yeah, she was a little bit crazy coming in, but the peregrines are relatively sweet birds to begin with, and they're not that difficult to train and work with if you're very careful and gentle around them.
Well, I'm gonna go this way first.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want my head hit again.
So she's turned into a really good puppy.